some maps or take a match off the Drop Bears, who haven't lost a single map so far in this competition. So really, they've got a great opportunity to set the record straight, to set their standard, and to say, hey, we're one of these top teams.
Indeed. Well, let's find out how it is going to go for them. They do have the Mercy Pharah combo there. Both teams, in fact, picking that one up.
Big ship.
Guzto going to be coming out here for Sydney Drop Bears, so no Jordation to start things off here on the control. That's what we saw yesterday for Sydney Drop Bears as well, so maybe it's going to be Guzto just playing on the control maps, Jordation playing on all of the other ones. See how it does turn out though for Sydney Drop Bears as the fight does begin. PB and Jam certainly being able to get a fair bit of damage out of this Pharah so far.
Control point is about to unlock here, Jordan. Billa now on this Pharah, trying to do a bit of damage. I'm not sure which one's going to get the better, but Billa going to get healed up just a little bit there. Everyone's still alive, but Gusto almost going down. Still 6 on 6. This has been a pretty solid start. Surely people start falling. There we go.
Billa. That was 3 shots in a row right onto the Lucio from a very, very long way away, and that's a good start to the fight for Sydney Drop Bears. However, Alter Ego do manage to chime back with a couple of kills themselves. It's a very, very prolonged fight right now. Sydney Drop Bears, though, starting to get the better of it. Xiaobao does get caught out, and Trace taken down by Face as well. It's rhyming. I'm a pod. I don't even know it. And Sydney Drop Bears do come away with the cap to start things off.
That was almost one of the most prolonged fights we've seen to start off control point.
Yeah, I would probably say it is.
Good. PB and Jam is back, but needs to hit some of these shots, really. It's hard to get back onto the point when your opponents have control. Self-destruct already coming out, and it will find Bertlog. Base retaliates, but that is less than ideal. 2 players now down for the Drop Bears. Sees that Lucio ultimate, the sound barrier, come on out. They're still holding on to the point. They lost a little bit almost, but held it back. PB&J ready to go with a barrage. Maybe this will get them the point should they need it. Yeah, maybe they won't.
Sydney Drop Bears right now just, stalling as much as they can, getting as much free time on the board as possible. Going to be up to probably about 50% there before Alter Ego does flip it. 49, in fact, is where they do reside. Overall, not too bad of a start there for the Sydney Drop Bears. They're going to try and retake this one. Some ultis coming up fairly shortly, but Alter Ego, their economy looking a little bit better there. Kraken does have the sound barrier. PB and Jam, Rocket Barrage, as you have already mentioned.
Oh, that was a nice hit.
The second shot came very close as well to PB and Jam there, which would have been a great opening for Sydney Drop Bears, but so difficult to hit 2 in a row. Trace.
Steve, you're going to get caught out, Jordan. That's not great. That's not what you want to see. At to 27%, but you'd like to think the Drop Bears might be able to pick this up now. There's the Pulse Bomb. Joy Boy goes down. Either way, the barrage comes out, doesn't find anyone.
Oh, dear.
2 players down for Alter Ego. 2 of them sitting on ults and both dead and cannot use them. And
well,
surely
that's
this
not where
cap
you want to be
back.
as a Mercy, is it at all? Billa getting both the supports as they do come out. They were being chased by a Tracer. It's 2 DPSs versus 2 supports. Not a very fair fight if I am really going to be honest. But Billa doing a lot of work right now on that Pharah. Still trying to get rid of PB and Jam. The pesky mosquito in the air.
Look at this. Ult charge coming up across the board here for the Drop Bears. I'm going to follow them all the way back down.
Is this a rocket barrage potential for Billa? No, he decides to back off. I thought he was looking for it though. 94%, he was close to it.
Look at this, forced to use the ultimates, Jordan, just to get through onto the point, and that's not a great start. Now the rocket barrage comes out, and then we'll find one, but goes down in the end.
Oh! Well, that's a little unfortunate for Gusto, isn't it? But he does get the kill at least onto Jordation. Or rather, not Jordation, Joy Boy. Billa picking up, or being picked up by Bertlog. This is a very, very chaotic fight right now. PB and Jam does hit a mid-air shot onto Billa, taking him down. But still, the cap is in the favor of Sydney Drop Bears. The flip did come into effect a little bit earlier on. Alter Ego now trying to retake it.
This should get to 99%, Jordan, with that sound barrier as well. You'd like to think they should be able to hold the point until the guys from Alter Ego are forced to try and hold it off.
Have you overcommitted just a little bit here? It does seem as though you might have. Not being teammates just yet, and Face gets Sad Boy off the edge. That's a big loss for Alter Ego. Face, again, another excellent boop here. Doing so much work for the Sydney Drop Bears, PB and Jam. Again, another mid-air rocket hit by him, another one by Billa. it's really just backwards and forwards between these Mercies, this time favoring Billa. Overtime is ticking and it's not looking good for Alter Ego at all. Xiaobao goes off the edge. They have no one to contest that overtime. Sad Boy was doing his best, but it is going to be round one over to Sydney Drop Bears, 100% to 61.
That was a little bit scrappy in parts,
it was,
to be
very
perfectly
scrappy.
honest, and not a bad start coming out from Alter Ego. Like to see them able to continue, perhaps in this form. They got caught out a couple of times, but the Drop Bears did seem to feel in control for the majority of that map, even though we saw their opponents pick up 60 or so %.
Yeah, well, at least Alter Ego was contesting that one quite heavily. Again, it kind of always does get a little bit messy when you do have a double Pharah Mercy combo and no one to really deal with it. No Soldier on the field, no McCree on the field, so they're always sort of alive and kicking until the very end of the fights. And even then, they sometimes still manage to survive. But once again, it will be the same combos and the same composition actually out from both teams coming in here to round two. Normally we do see a bit of a change up, maybe a Soldier coming out here or there.
Gonna follow out Shoyo here. Staying alive, nice work. Does take out the Lucio. That's a very, very good start here for the Drop Bears. And there's a Tracer as well. So between that and the Xiaobao, Jordan, this should be a pickup here for the Drop Bears on this point. You'd like to think they stopped that cap.
Got to remember, they lost Billa earlier on in this fight, which did give PB and Jam quite a lot of freedom up in the air there. No one to really contest him. Now does come down onto the point, which might be a mistake. As a Pharah, you don't really want to be confined into those small spaces. That gives a big opportunity over to Shoyo to just pummel away in those close ranges. 93% of the ult charge. The respawn's coming in there for Sydney Drop Bears. And Alter Ego do once more drop the point.
Shoyo did so much work there in that first fight.
Yeah, 97%.
Yep. That was actually fantastic. Got a number of kills. I think they got a 5-player kill streak in there as well. And a couple of those were even last hits as well. So across the board, very, very nice play. Going to put them nice and close. Well, actually, precisely on their self-destruct for now. Billa trying to stay alive. Trying to duke it out with PB and J. And working out so far, so good for them. Xiaobao almost going down, but staying alive for now. Look at that, 3 kills in a row, and Drop Bears going to drop off the face of the earth.
Yeah, Drop Bears just need to give this one up. That is going to be a pretty easy cap for Alter Ego. Shoyo will lose the mech and probably his life here as well. Decides to just jump off the edge.
Gets helped.
Yeah, just some good ulti usage coming out there from Alter Ego. Trace getting one with the Pulse Bomb, and Sydney Drop Bears not really having much to fight back with. Obviously, Shoyo did have the self-destruct, but it wasn't a fight that the self-destruct was going to be particularly useful in. Everything was everywhere. No one really clumped up there for a big ulti. That's a self-destruct out from Sad Boy. Not sure what the intention of that was.
Yeah, that looks like something I would do, so...
maybe trying to get rid of Billa and Bertlog, but short of that, not really too much done of it. Billa does get PB and Jam as well. The Rocket Barrage making him a sitting duck in this scenario, which is not what you want to be. And that does give Billa a lot more freedom with his Rocket Barrage for at least the next 15 seconds or so.
A couple of whiffed ults really there for Alter Ego is going to set them up for failure here. Billa, on the other hand, what can he do? Picks up one. That's Joy Boy. Trace actually will take out Face. That's okay. But Billa's still going strong. Picks up another. And this point should swap back across here for the Drop Bears in quick succession.
Yeah, Billa definitely getting some nice shots in there on the Pharah. Up to 26% PB and Jam, despite utilizing his Rocket Barrage so much earlier than Billa. Still not really that much further ahead of him in terms of ulti charge. And in fact, now Billa eclipsing him. So definitely Billa is putting out a lot of work for Sydney Drop Bears. But they do not really have much to hold on to this point with, short of the Valkyrie on Mercy. Joy Boy does have Primal Rage. No real ultimates coming up for either team at this one. It's just going to be a dry push.
Yeah, we'll see how they can go. Probably going to get the lead here in terms of percentage. Joy Boy down to 250. That's almost halfway. Going to need to Primal Rage if he wants to keep at it. Instead, decides just to jump on out of the action. Not a bad idea, but still going to need to be very, very careful. The heals come back out. Trace is pestering him. See the self-destruct coming out as well. This Mercy in trouble, though. Going to try and get chased down by Quats. You can see both supports trying to help each other out, which might result in both these supports going down.
Yeah, not really going to be getting away from that one. FaZe just continuing to be very, very aggressive on the Lucio and finding picks for Sydney Drop Bears where their teammates otherwise haven't been able to do. I mean, the Winston, of course, it was Quats chasing down the Mercy and the Lucio, but needed a little bit of help, and FaZe was quite keen to give that. The Pulse Bomb out, not going to land. Gusto has to fall back to the rest of his team now. Oh, Billa! Did you see that, Ben? PB and Jam just goes straight into the ground.
Whoa,
Drop Bears
Billa.
burying him.
Never
Billa
mind.
also gets buried, a little unfortunately there for them. Alter Ego now trying to recontest this point. They're finding some picks. It started off really, really poorly for them, but they've got a chance.
Billa accidentally, I think, picked himself up, and then the ultimate, or the resurrection, sorry, came out there for PB and J, and that will help him use this right now, potentially getting this point back. It stopped at 99%. And they should be able to swing it back to keep this map alive. Yeah, FaZe just needs to get out of here. Another excellent shot out from Billa, dispatching once again of PB and Jam. Ruling the skies right now are Sydney Drop Bears, but Alter Ego have got control of the point. You tell me which one is more important, Ben. Well, the point is pretty useful. The point is pretty useful, I must admit. Still a bit of time to work with. 20% still to go here for Alter Ego. Trace onto the point, trying to take out the opposing Tracer there. Billa finding the Lucio, so that's going to help for sure. And the Primal Rage now going to come out from Winston. We'll see if Joyboy can keep pushing this one through, trying to keep them off the point. 95%, 96%, continuing to tick down. If this Mercy goes down, that's less than ideal here for the Drop Bears.
Trace on 98% of that Pulse Bomb could be a difference maker here. Won't be though. Shoyo and Gusto now starting to come up big here for Sydney Drop Bears. Shoyo has had a great round so far here on Lighthouse. 99% versus 99%, but it will be Sydney Drop Bears coming away with the victory. No one can touch it for Alter Ego. That's 2-0. Map 1 goes their way.
Well, that was a much closer second point here than we saw to start things off, Jordan. And Alter Ego, they didn't win the map, but they're doing okay.
Yeah, I definitely think the difference really there was Billa was having a lot more of an impact on the Pharah than PB and Jam was, particularly on the second round. Shoyo as well, really stepping up on that D.Va.
So what do you do there, right? So you're playing the same hero. Someone on the opposing team is maybe doing a little bit better job on that hero, and you're losing the duels. Do you swap off? Do you say, well,
you have two
maybe
options.
The rest of the team can... Well, you've got more than two options. It's not just swap off or stay on, right?
It's swap off or play better.
Right.
That's
okay.
the option.
That's the option.
If you continue to stay on and you keep losing that duel,
yep.
well, it's not going to work out too well for you. Maybe you swap off and then you sacrifice a lot of effectiveness, a lot of impact from that aerial position, but maybe you have a bit more of an opportunity to shut it down. I mean, I don't think PB and Jam was irrelevant by any means.
No, no,
So,
and there were some great plays, but on the, if you took it across the board, if you went across both of those points, it probably felt like Billa
was having more impact.
A bit more impact, yeah.
That's absolutely correct. And so that was an advantage that Sydney Drop Bears did have. I mean, both teams were pretty much running the exact same comp, so really it just came down to who was better on their heroes. Across the board, it felt like Sydney Drop Bears individually were having more impact than Alter Ego. We saw even picks out of face on the Lucio, so that wasn't coming from players on Alter Ego.
Across the board, maybe it felt like the guys on the Sydney Drop Bears they had their number, right? Even though it got close, even though it got to 99-99, it didn't feel like they were about to lose control.
No, well, I mean, they were in a position where they potentially could have lost that one when they had to retake. It was at 80% or so. And if that next fight would have gone poorly for Sydney's Drop Bears, maybe they would have had the opportunity to get one more push through. It depends on how quick that fight would have gone, but if they would have lost that first one, they would have been ults charged up by Alter Ego. I think they would have held on to it. So it really was just down to that one single fight that Sydney Drop Bears did win at the key moment. Well,
the guys from Alter Ego will now get to pick the next map. We're heading on over to Hybrid, Jordan, and it's going to be Numbani. And after that, I would like to think, to be honest, that Alter Ego really can do something here. There were some good plays. It felt like they, at certain points within that map, were able to really challenge the Drop Bears, and maybe on this hybrid type, they might have something here.
Trace was particularly impressive on the Tracer for Alter Ego. Thought that was probably the shining light for them, actually. Moving on to this second map, though, let's see if we get Jornation. No, we do not. Gusto is still playing here for Sydney Drop Bears. But nonetheless, Alter Ego will be starting off on the attack. PB and Jam looks like he's going to go for the Genji. Tracer is already picked up there. It should be the dive composition. Xiaobao on the Mercy though. Not so sure about this. Could be a comfort pick, but I think Lucio might be a little bit more effective here for Alter Ego.
And Billa here with the Sombra on defense, Jordan. So we've seen some good Sombra plays so far. Let's see what Billa's got for us in store right now.
Yeah, Billa definitely looking to be one of the best Sombras within AU Contenders. Not sure who I'm going to give the pole position just yet. I'm going to have to wait and see some more.
Wait and see. Here's the dive onto the point. They'll knock them down. It's a 1-for-1. But Quats will trade one back there as well. Drop Bears lost 2. Alter Ego lost 2. The point ticks through, and now the Drop Bears have to fight this one back. Yeah,
I was going to say it was pretty good focus fire there from Drop Bears, but so too it was from Alter Ego. Of course, Drop Bears do have the time to try and recontest this one. Billa going down though, that's an inopportune time for him to drop. The micro missiles from Sad Boy doing too much damage. At least a couple of trades do come back for Sydney Drop Bears, but the trickle is in effect. Alter Ego are finding the kills that they need. And this should be a very quick first cap for Alter Ego.
Yeah, that was great work coming out from Alter Ego very, very quickly. It almost looked like they stole 2 ticks almost for free, but the end result was that they actually got the point. It was a decent dive. We thought maybe the Drop Bears had brought some picks back, but that wasn't the case. It didn't even matter. I think Alter Ego only even left the Genji on the point for a while, and we're just ticking along. Tick, tick, tick. That's all you need to do.
Tick, tick, tick indeed. Billa ticking up that ultimate as well, though. 97% there. Gusto. So both the DPS ultimates for Sydney Drop Bears are getting close. Alter Ego, though, already 3 ultimates up. They're looking a little bit better off in that scenario. However, Billa, the EMP does come out. Now we see the push from Sydney Drop Bears. Gusto able to get one. However, Bertlog immediately jumped upon the counter dive out from Alter Ego. Not sure it's going to be enough here. The Pulse Bomb doing a bit of damage to Quads, but he's getting healed up quite quickly by Face. PB and Jam, this might be a little bit over eager as he pulls out the Dragon Blade, swinging his sword around in thin air, absolutely doing nothing. That's a wasted ultimate out for the Dragon Blade. A little unfortunate for Alter Ego.
Unsure whether that was PB&J or whether that was Elfishguy after picking up a broken sword at a pop culture expo back in the day, attacking everyone in the office, because both of them were just annoying, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. But 4 minutes on the clock. This has actually been pretty good from Alter Ego. Gusto going to bring out the tack vise, trying to do damage, but very less effective up against the Transcendence.
Indeed. Hack out onto Joy Boy there. Billa 75% on the EMP, so it wasn't that just yet. It was a regular hack. The Sydney Drop Bears starting to win this fight anyway. Bertlog's got Transcendence left. So Shoyo with the self-destruct. I'm getting some flashbacks to yesterday where Blank Blue were essentially spawn camping. Alter Ego, in this case, are the tainted minds of this matchup. However, it's not being that bad.
No,
maybe it is being that bad.
That doesn't help. That definitely does not help.
Just forced right back into their spawn. So perhaps I spoke too soon. Alter Ego now really being forced all the way back.
That payload's about halfway there as well, and they did very well at the start, but now it's been struggle street here on Numbani for Alter Ego.
Around the back.
Yeah, Billa, what are you doing? He's causing a ruckus.
Information was there for Alter Ego, but there's nothing you can do. The translocator comes in. Billa with the EMP. Shoyo finding Joy Boy. Billa looking for the player on the flank there. Pulse Bomb does nothing. But Shoyo still putting the pressure on Alter Ego here. A res out onto Joy Boy. That's going to help them. Maybe they can get back into the fight with that, and indeed they are going to continue the push forward. Gusto does go down. Now face dropping. Sydney Drop Bears might have invested a little bit too much aggression, too near to the spawn doors for Alter Ego, as the fight is favoring the attackers.
Finally, they get back on the payload that had started to make its way back. For half that fight, I wanted to be like, Drop Bears, have you forgotten? You already lost the first point, but it didn't matter. That's where everyone wanted to battle. Finally, Alter Ego getting closer and closer to securing this second point here on the payload. The Drop Bears, 4 ultimates stacked up, ready to go. Up against 3, almost 4, almost 5, with Tracer being so quick here for Alter Ego, however. But they're going to choose to fight it out right here and right now before the second point.
Very, very early Transcendence forced out there by Kraken. Bertlog and Quats getting a kill apiece. There's not really much more needed to be invested here by Sydney Drop Bears. Just the Tactical Visor and the Valkyrie out from them in that fight. Alter Ego not able to do enough there.
1:40 on the clock, still plenty of time to work with, but what was a fantastic start is now starting to fall apart for Alter Ego. The drop bears starting to get their hooks back into things here, starting to feel a little bit better again. That payload starts to make its way back. It got so very close, but was never going to make it on that last push. And now the drop bears, the potential here to stall this out before it makes its way all the way through the end. They'd love to do that and make life much, much easier. PB and Jam almost going down, and Will here to Quats. Only so much you can do up against that Tesla cannon.
Well, you could tell that he was looking for a Dragon Blade there, but down on 12 HP, he really didn't have the potential to do it. Decides to hold on to it for the next fight. That is going to result in not really enough damage coming out from Alter Ego in this one. Sydney Drop Bears, again, look to be holding strong, but the good news for Alter Ego is that they have at least enough time for another fight, so we'll see what they can make happen in 10-15 seconds or so. They need to back out here, though. Sydney Drop Bears is not allowing that. Continue the chase.
40 seconds on the clock. Alter Ego running out of time here. 1 and maybe a bit. Trickles here onto this point. This will probably be our last real fight, unless they can manage to get through and pick it up. Billa with an EMP. This could be enough, Jordan, just to stall it out.
Certainly could indeed. The EMP is out. 2 picks already going the way of Sydney Drop Bears before the fight even really gets kicked off.
Yeah.
Doing so much damage on this Winston, being really a big problem for Alter Ego, always in their face. And Alter Ego, well, that's an almost complete wipe. They should be able to at least get onto this cap to pursue overtime.
I don't think
Joy
so.
Boy needed to primal rage there and did not. And so unfortunately, they can't even secure the overtime. Sydney Drop Bears with a very strong hold in the streets phase of the map, which traditionally is the easiest part of that map.
That's like your free ride. It's like you jump on your skateboard and it's all downhill. You don't even have to do any work.
Frogger yesterday on Lucio.
Yeah. He went like half of that himself, I think.
Yeah, check out the Twitters if you don't know what I'm talking about.
It's actually a very boring video because nothing happens. But it got all the retweets.
That's
and
the beauty of it.
was very, very excited. Sandman, look at all my retweets.
It wasn't my retweets, it was
retweets
Frogger's.
with something that I was talking in.
Yeah, well, you were talking in it as well. You should be excited
Yeah,
too.
I didn't say much though. Used to that by now though.
Nothing relevant anyway.
So what do you reckon here? If you are Alter Ego, you go, ugh, that wasn't so great. I feel like, again, you want to hold this first point because you're going to really struggle keeping it out from point number 2 if it gets that far.
Got to hold first, otherwise things are not going to work out here for Alter Ego. They've gone for the Ana on Xiao Bao. Now, personally, I would say the Mercy that was picked up on attack for Alter Ego would have been better off here on the defense. I think they should have had Lucio, and now I think they should have Mercy. So we'll see how Xiao Bao does go on the Ana. But Mercy, very, very useful on those high grounds, jumping up and down, quite difficult to deal with on the first point of Numbani. Ana, a little bit more static. If you miss that sleep dart on Ana, you're basically dead meat. And Sydney Drop Bears, well, they're going to go for an interesting composition here. If they go with the Soldier, I'm not suspecting they're going to stick with the Hanzo, so let's not even talk about that. But if Guzto stays on the Soldier, not swapping over to something like a Genji, it's not necessarily going to be a full-on dive comp here from Sydney Drop Bears. They're going to need to try and coordinate with the Soldier sitting back and with the D.Va and the Winston going forward, maybe alongside Billa on Sombra.
It's going to be Tracer as well.
A clash of two worlds, really, for Sydney Drop Bears. And like you said, yeah, no Tracer either. The dives are going to be not quite as effective here for Sydney Drop Bears, but maybe Quats and Shoyo can get the job done on their own. Two very good tank players in their own right, and they've been having a lot of an impact throughout this matchup so far. Trace, oh, if the hack would come across.
Oh, that's how you deal with Trace, the Elfishguy.
Oh,
no,
not yet.
Second time's a charm. There we go. Gusto also coming back to life. Going to put the Drop Bears in a good position up until the fact that base goes down, but still on the point they can pick up the tank. Hack's going far, but maybe not far enough. But so far, so good.
Yeah, so far so good. The healers really got isolated there from Alter Ego. Had to back off towards the spawn of Alter Ego. And of course, Trace getting picked off so early. It was a really split defense there from Alter Ego. They were sort of all over the place. There was no real team coordination, it felt like. And Sydney Drop Bears, they jumped on them one by one by one by one. And Alter Ego fell like flies.
Can't help but feel that some of these hacks wouldn't go through on the updated Sombra that we're likely to see come come out later down the track.
Well,
so.
I don't think that's actually going to come out into Contenders.
Well, that's what I mean, though. We'll have to wait for end of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. Contenders is going to be on the same patch, as far as I'm aware, for the entirety of the season. So, I mean, they got to get used to this, and we're now 2 weeks in, so time to really up their game against the Sombra. It's very tough to deal with, though, of course. But Alter Ego really under the pressure right now. Sydney Drop Bears pushing that payload forward, absolutely uncontested to this point. Now only is it slowing down.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on this at the moment from Alter Ego. We'll see what they can do with their couple of ultis, but Billa with that EMP ready to go, ready to see it come in and just really bring him down. There we go. EMP comes out and Quats up onto the top. Manages to find one. PB and Jam has found both the D-Mech and a Frag coming back out the other side. Transcendence is ready, though, here from Bertlog. And this might just be enough to push it through and make life very, very difficult.
Yeah, Nano Visor came out there as well for Alter Ego, which is, you know, if you're not getting much off that, it's really not a fun time. Utilizing 2 ultis. The Soldier is sometimes quite easy to shut down. You just need a guy to stand right in front of him. That's exactly what we saw Quads doing with that Primal Rage. No one can even contest there for Alter Ego. So that's a really easy map win for Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, considering how that first point went for Alter Ego, everything else was downhill from there. That was the highlight, the high point of the map for them. And now you see your play of the game coming out here for Bertlog.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not fun when you're a Tracer. Getting 1v1 by the Zenyatta makes your job a little difficult. Also gets the pick there onto Mercy. So, yeah, Bertlog putting some pressure even on Sydney Drop Bears, on Alter Ego himself. Overall 2-0 there for the Drop Bears.
Sitting on 10-0 now.
2 pretty convincing wins as well. Like, I mean, okay, Control was close rounds-wise, but it was a 2-0. So,
it was, yep.
You know, take that in consideration. Obviously, we can all sort of see how Numbani went for ourselves. Good start for Drop Bears. Is the 4-0 on the cards? Well,
yeah,
12-0 is looking good.
As soon as it went to that sort of payload situation, it was less than ideal. So I guess, again, maybe it comes back to Assault. Maybe Assault is their game of choice. Maybe that's going to help them out, but that's one. The last map's got your payload there. It's just scored all the way through. So at best, you pick up one map if this is how you're going to play it out, Jordan. Well,
that's what they're going to have to hope for at this stage, because so far they're not even getting close to picking up a map. So yeah, maybe if they can get onto Assault and pick up that upset map, well, that'd be good news for them, I suppose. It's not looking good, though, as far as I'm concerned, Ben.
No, Alter Ego not looking very good at all right now. The Drop Bears, however, they are undefeated in terms of maps. We have 2 more maps yet to play. Can they get the 12-0 after 3 games? We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out the answer.